Hello, welcome back to Seagulls Social, Series 3, Episode 9. This is the 5th take or 4th take? So many technical difficulties. I'm, of course, I'm back, and I'm really, really happy to be back. The Premier League's back, and I'm, of course, joined by TikTok sensation Maz, away day sensation Jack, and verified sensation Ryan Adset. How are we all doing?
That's pretty good, actually. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm good, Ben. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. Looking hopefully looking nice and tanned. Obviously in Marbella, not Gibraltar. I did 10 days in Gibraltar. 10 days in Gibraltar. You can't do it. You can barely do one. It's so small.
I rated going to watch Gibraltar versus
Georgia.
Georgia. That was very on brand. Jack Albion.
That was
96.
very Jack. Yeah, that was very Jack Albion, wasn't it? I did think of you when I got the scarf and all. It's in the back there if you can see it. But boys, obviously. The Bismo ball, the Zerbi's first game, and it got off to an incredible start. Ryan, we'll start with you. I think you and Jack both went there. You actually made it despite the railway. Thanks for that, Jack.
Yeah, we're sitting right next to each other. Like, literally. Really? Yeah, like a row behind.
Oh, lovely. How was it, boys? How was the trip up there? Because obviously, I think, Jack, you went the day before, didn't you?
I drove on the day.
You drove on the day?
6:30, yeah. There was a very important matter of the under-23s playing Tottenham on Friday night, so I couldn't have made it up.
I probably thought, yeah.
Of course. But, yeah, no, it was interesting because I don't usually get in a car on the way up, so it's a very different experience for me. But it's still enjoyable. We did...
well done.
Still managed to drink, I
think that was honestly like the most I've seen Jack drunk, which actually takes some doing, to be fair. Yeah. I think you were ultimately drunk the other day, to be fair. That was next level stuff. I mean, he was literally down in a sambuca as I came out of the grounds. It's like, crazy guy.
We didn't get through that bottle of sambuca, though. That was quite disappointing. But it was
I'm not surprised.
Nice it had a nice little nozzle.
Yeah. Ryan, how did you find the away day? Obviously, getting up there. Did you
cracking day out. It came from the Midlands, which was a lot easier for me, to be fair. But still about 3.5 hours, which isn't really too bad, to be honest, to Liverpool. It's more the actual getting through the city is just annoying. But other than that, it's fine, to be honest. And mate, what a day out it was as well, because that's up there with one of the best away days probably I've personally done. It was a lot of fun, good atmosphere, the Zerbi ball, him celebrating, never spending
his
a moment in
celebrations
his own box,
good.
which was hilarious. Everything I hated on Jesse Marsh for a few weeks ago. So, here we are. It's okay now. And, mate, cracking day out.
Did you ever expect us to go 1-0 up, let alone just in like the first, few minutes? Did that it caught everyone by surprise, surely?
Yeah, so what was it? Me and Ryan predicted a draw ahead of the game. Yeah. I was on another podcast, and I actually said a 2-1 win on that one because I was like, do you know what? The more I think about it, the more I'm confident. I'm getting more confident just because they're midfield. Like that was for me like a big battle. If we won the midfield battle, to answer your question, I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie. Going 2-0 up at Anfield, I was shocked. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, what? And then when I saw Diaz come on, I was like, right. It was obviously 2-1 at half time, and then I saw Diaz come on. I was like, right, we're in for it now, because I think he's incredible, and he obviously was a difference maker. I think he assisted Firmino's goal, the equaliser.
Yeah, he did.
So for me, as soon as he came on, I was like, oh shit, here we go again. But then, do you know what I was really, really impressed about? Was the fact that when we're 3-2 down, we could have easily, like Brighton from last season or even seasons before, we easily could have just been like, right, let's sack it off, boys. We lost this game, and it's nothing that's like on Potter or anything, but or I don't think it was like him. But as a team,
right,
sort of like. Yeah. Let's blame it on him anyway. It was definitely Potter's fault. I think if we were 3-2 down, like let's say last season, I think that we would have lost that game 3-2. But the fact that Trossard equalising for 3-3. I just thought it was great, like the way we just kept going. Like when Mitoma came on, I thought it was brilliant. It was just a really positive performance. I was chuffed. But to answer your question, I did not see us going 2-0 up. And we should, it could have been 4.
It could have been 4-0 at half time. I'm not even joking.
We should have won that game. Let's be real, boys. We should have beaten Liverpool. We should have got 3 points, but it was not to be. Defensive frailties let us down. Few mistakes / errors.
That was one comment that caught me off by surprise. It was about someone tweeted saying, "Oh, so we've forgotten how to defend now under Zerbi," and I was like, "What? Yeah. How have you come away from that game negatively like that?"
I think at the end of the day, like as much as we probably made a couple of mistakes defensively, I don't think Sanchez was great for the third goal, but let's not dig him out.
Yeah.
That's Ryan's job. To get Sanchez out. But more to the point, like, you know, I don't think it was, you know, Liverpool are a quality side still. Like, I think it's quite similar to Leicester in a way. In that, you know, as much as Leicester are doing terribly at the moment, they still are scoring quite a few goals, and I think it's the same with Liverpool. In that, you know, Firmino is a top quality player. Diaz, as Maz mentioned when he came on, still a top quality player. So I don't think it's massively a slight on our defence. We're defending against arguably one of the best attacking teams in the world.
That's I agree.
And if we concede free, we concede free. Most teams will come away from Anfield conceding a lot more. Like Bournemouth, you know, they're not, you know, as much as you know, as much as Liverpool have been poor this season, they still scored 9 against Bournemouth. So I don't think it's a slight on the way that we set up. I think we set up just, you know, similar-ish to we have previously. But they definitely look like, I don't know. I think the reason we attack more is because we took more risks. I think that was one thing I noticed yesterday. Like, there's a lot more risk taking. Like that turn Webster made.
I was just about to say it. He done that multiple times as well, didn't he? He done that multiple times against Salah.
2 or 3 times.
To go past Salah was fantastic. Like, and those are the sort of risks that I don't think I would have seen as much under Potter. And that's not to, but as much as, you know, I'm probably, you know, if Potter has 0 haters, I am 1. But, you know, it's sort of like, it's not a slight on him. I think it is just, you could tell that there were a couple of subtle differences how he sort of built up a bit more.
Agree,
and took on more risks. And the sort of, you know, the idea of most people when we were 2-2 would have probably brought on another defender, but we did, you know, brought on Mitoma for Estupiñán, and that sort of attacked and got us our third goal. Because I thought he was very good when he came on as well, Mitoma, yet again.
Yeah, massively. It's brilliant.
I'm sure you want to talk about Mitoma, don't you, Ryan? You've been singing his praises.
I was just going to butt in then, actually, because I think that, Mitoma, again, he comes on and he just changes the game. And I am a big fan of him, to be honest. I know I big him up a lot on Twitter, but even just you know, just conversations in and around me is, you know, Mitoma must be banging on the door for a start soon. And I know people were responding
for
to
who
saying,
though? Yeah, for who?
For?
That's the difficult
for me. I personally, I'm not. This isn't a dig out at Estupiñán, but I probably, if anyone's going to be dropped, it's probably him.
No.
That's just me. I thought he was a little bit shaky for some of that game.
I think he'd be better at left wing back though.
Salah's counter.
Purvis would be better at left wing back than Mitoma, especially starting. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to start Mitoma left wing back, I don't think.
I think Mitoma did start a lot of his, a fair bit of it anyway, at left wing back. I think he is very capable of that. I think
he is,
actually part of what Potter, when he came back, was Potter was saying that he sees him actually as a good left wing back. So I wouldn't be against him starting there. I probably wouldn't say, you know, drop Estupiñán. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if I was going to drop anyone, it'd probably be him. I think he just needs a bit of a settling in process. He's a new player in a new league. I think he's probably not taking a while, but I think he just probably is adapting. I think, and I think he'll come good. You can see the qualities he's got, but I think at the same time he can definitely try a bit too much at times. And I think he took a few risks at Liverpool, and some of them didn't pay off. And I think Salah had a bit of fun with him at times.
I'm a big fan of Estupiñán. I really like him. I think he's great. Like even in the Liverpool game,
I like him. Don't get me wrong. I like him. I'm not gonna.
No. I agree with you. Sometimes he's a bit. He does a bit too much with the ball.
He just tries a little bit too much.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that front. But I thought he was brilliant against Liverpool. I thought he really he worked his socks off.
He was good.
He made a lot of tackles, and also as well, like he just. Yeah, I feel like he done what he was needed of him, and I feel like you said, Ryan, with a bit more, you know, settling in. Obviously, he's coming from Spain, playing Spanish football is different to the Premier League. Yeah. I think he just needs a bit of time just settling in. But I'm a really big fan. I really like him.
I think I'd probably say on your point though, I think what probably my worry with him was he got a yellow card fairly early on, and he was just a bit of a walking red card at times, and I was a bit like. I was just a bit unsure. Maybe that tainted my vision of how good he was, and because that was probably my worry. I was thinking if he gets sent off, we're in trouble here. Because you know, at the end of the day, we are at Anfield, right?
To be honest, I thought this was Estupiñán's. God, I'm getting really good at saying it now. Estupiñán. I thought that this was his best. This was his best game for us by far.
Definitely.
Like if you look at how maybe the Leeds game he played all right, but I think he put in some really good crosses.
Huge contrast against when he's at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he did really well in this game. But I think you're right. The yellow card, I did get a bit worried, but I thought he dealt with it quite well. Also, as Ryan sat near me and heard my slight on the referee. I mean, to give a yellow card for that was complete nonsense. Like, yes, every player wastes time taking a throw in. But to book him without a warning whatsoever in the first half was
harsh.
It was harsh. And then to also allow Milner to do it repeatedly when they were 3-2 up, it didn't quite make sense to me. So I didn't really understand that. And I thought he dealt with the yellow card quite well. And I think when he did come off, it was the right time for him to come off. But I think he performed quite well in the circumstances of being on a yellow against arguably the best winger in the world.
Yeah,
and also as well, just final one from me as well. This is a bit of a nerdy stat, but he's the top of the list of expected assists per 90. That's above Pascal Gross and Trossard, 0.35.
Wow.
And he's got the top interceptions per 90 as well. So I mean, it's. I know it's very early on. Yeah, it's only early on, but to show that kind of expected assist.
Was that just against Liverpool?
No, that's in Brighton's top rating.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2022-23. Yeah, so that's in 2 games he's played? 2-3 games? Yeah. And that's by FOTMOB, by the way, so if they're wrong, blame them. But yeah, FOTMOB.
Yeah, that's probably about 3.5 games because it was like
but sponsors if you want.
Yeah.
But going from left wing back to right wing back.
Finish on that, left wing back. I feel like to do that from that position, not being a left wing or whatever, I think that's pretty sick. And above Pascal Gross as well, which we all know how good he is.
Fair play. Yeah, maybe I'll take that back then about dropping a Stevie. I think I was probably trying to just fit Mitoma in because, as I say, he was absolutely fantastic when he came on. He did change that game. I think it actually complemented when he did come on because March almost had a little bit more joy once he did come on. I think it almost opened up a bit more of a gap for Mitoma. I mean, he had a lot of fun with Trent Alexander-Arnold, left him on his bum a couple of times. It was quite funny to watch. Trossard as well did the same for the goal.
That first goal was class. So that even started with that ball, I think, for the switch from Solly March, didn't it? And I think it might have been Estepinian that brought it down. It was just a back heel for Welbeck as well. Yeah, it was such a good goal, and then just to bury that finish with his weaker foot again because he scored twice with his left foot at Anfield. It was phenomenal. Was it all three? Oh god, yeah, all three with his left.
Yeah, all three with his left.
All three with his weak foot is insane. Yeah. Yeah,
it was. I remember that.
Was it was such a good finish. He hit that so clinically and so powerfully into the bottom corner. And just seeing Trent, there's that perfect picture of Trent where he's literally looking at
on his knees.
Leo going, "Oh fuck, I've really fucked it again." Because especially after Klopp was defending him so much in the pre-match, wasn't he? Yeah, so much, and then to have that happen just a few minutes in is poetic.
I think as well, Trossard's on 23 goals for us now, so he must be. I'm pretty sure it's 26 Premier League record for us. I think Mopé and Murray hold that record, so he's actually pushing for all-time top scorer for Brighton in the Premier League. I mean, he's rewrited himself here because the last couple of years he's been, Maz's probably rightful criticisms throughout 2021 was inconsistency on his days. Great, can go on a bit of a bad run for about 7 or 8 games, then comes back. I mean, pretty much every week Trossard's great now. He was last season as well. Absolutely fantastic. Probably one of the players of the season. This season he started so strongly again, and it feels like whenever he goes through on goal, he seems so clinical now, and you don't feel like Trossard's going to try and do like more step overs or something and waste the chance. He's really clinical. He's really cut that out, and obviously Zerbi said that he tried to get more goals out of him, and I mean he got a hat trick at Anfield.
Yeah,
the third player only ever to do that as an away player, by the way. The first time since 2009, I believe. That's crazy stats to be able to say that we witnessed that. Leandro Trossard, he's rewriting himself into a bit of a cult hero / I wonder if the big L word will be getting mentioned if he keeps us up over the next year or two, if he gets a new contract.
That was quality from Zerbi though, wasn't it? He said that he called him up. He hadn't even met Trossard yet, but called him up whilst he was on international break at Belgium and said, "You need more goals." Even though he's had such a good start already this season, banging in goals, to call him up and do that, and then score a hat trick at Anfield, so good.
Crazy.
That's what I love that about Zerbi.
I was just about to say on that, Ben, I really liked his comments as well prior to the game about how he said that Dunk, Veltman and Webster basically not first team on the sheet, and also that he puts his full trust. And I love that he's sort of like not singling players out, but he's basically vocalising that I trust these players.
Yeah.
And I think that will give those kind of players, it might isolate a few players. They might be thinking, well, I've got no chance getting in the starting 11. There's going to be pros and cons to that. But I think on the whole, it will definitely the likes of Dunk, Webster, and Veltman. If they're like, right, he really trusts me, I'm going to fucking play my, play my.
Oh mate, you could definitely see the ego boost in March and Webster particularly.
Yeah, definitely.
And also Veltman, there's definitely an ego boost in that, and it's great. I think if Zerbi keeps that up, he's going to get the best out of these boys.
I said March most improved player at the beginning of the last season for this season, didn't I? And you laughed at me.
I thought he's class.
I thought March and Webster, I think you're right, they look way more confident. Because Webster, not to say that he's often, but he can often have his moments where, I call it his speedboat without steering wheel moments, where he just sort of runs forward. He didn't really know what he's doing, and he goes, oh shit, I've got, no idea where I am now, there's attackers coming down on me.
Nosebleed.
Yeah, whereas, the other, against Liverpool, he had the confidence to sort of take that forward and knew exactly what he was doing. And once again,
so imagine if that didn't pay off as well,
yeah.
Jack. Like because he gets pelted by some fans if he makes a mistake. So he done that a few times. If that didn't pay off, he would have got so much hate.
I don't know what he's like this season, but he definitely is up there for biggest ball carrier stat in that he takes it forward more than anyone else. So I think it's good. Yeah, get Maz on Football or a sponsor.
I'm actually looking it up as you're saying.
I could see the white light hit your face. I was like, your
Google. And March, I think he looked really good. And it's quite interesting that De Zerbi sort of singled him out for praise. And I really like March. I really like him as a player. Because if you think
compared
of the
him to
way
Berardi, didn't he?
Yeah,
compared him to he's obviously a phenomenal player for such a role.
But you think of how he's been playing in the last few years, and he is sort of an Italian traditional style left back. March, sort of these wing backs who like Candreva over the years, great players obviously who sort of play these sort of winger fullback roles, and I think March has sort of done that really well. So it'd be interesting to see how he develops under De Zerbi.
I think early signs of De Zerbi so far, I think, are very positive. I mean, I see, as you say earlier, Ben, about the people sort of digging him out for the defensive problems, and you see Erling Haaland score a hat-trick and it makes you wonder. But I don't know, I just think that there seems to be a good vibe about the guy as well. Even just off a footballing basis, he seems to give off good energy in the interviews. He's really trying hard to get that English right, and I really respect that a lot. To go on that press conference that first day, I really try his best to talk English. Is great.
Until he needed.
I thought his English is good. I think
he's done all right for himself, 100%. And I mean, you can tell he understands as well what the pundits are saying as well. But no, I just think the early signs, that celebration, a bit of passion, a bit of fire.
That was beautiful.
It probably links up with the Brighton way a little bit more than perhaps previously. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about that. The sort of connection, the bond is already starting to grow, I think.
Massively,
he reminds me a little bit of Gus Poyet. Do you know what I mean? He's got that little bit of Gus Poyet in him. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like he's
got that dog in him. Yeah.
He's got that
dog in him. Yeah, that's exactly it. I exactly what you just said, Brian. I feel like he's got that passion. He's got that passion. You know what I mean? That passion merchant. He's got a bit of a bit about him rather than a few of our previous managers. Let's say like a Chris Hughton, who's a bit more reserved, a bit more calm. Has that demeanour.
I think that's good in some ways.
Nice guy. Yeah, 100%.
It's good.
100%.
But it's nice to have a change, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. He's got, like Jack said, I love that. He's got that dog in him. I love that.
Fans will feed off that a lot more as well, rather than seeing a composed manager on the pitch. If you see your manager like out his box or doing those like quick steps when he was celebrating, it's only that
reminded me of you on a Saturday night, Ben. Those little quick steps.
The boogie. Oh god, after a few beds, that's for sure. But who wants to talk us through the second goal, because that was decent as well, like another Trossard banger. Probably not as good as the first one.
Absolutely happy.
Yeah, go on, Ryan. Talk us through it.
I mean, I think Alisson probably will be disappointed in himself. He probably let it through his hands a little bit easily. But again, it was just a great move again. And it was Welbeck, I think, sort of linked it up. I think overall, we just look very threatening, I think is the word. We come forward with menace and a bit more directness and intent. And I think that's three things I've said there, that if you were to watch a podcast from about a year and a half ago, we would be absolutely laughing at ourselves saying this now, because that's just completely the opposite. It was a bit passed in the round and, a bit passive, and then we'll pass it back to Dunk, and then we'll put it in midfield, and then we're not quite sure where to go with it. Whereas now we really come forward with intent. And as I said earlier about Mitoma, who came on and terrorised Trent Alexander-Arnold. And that second goal, again, we came forward. As soon as Trossard got on that ball, I just thought he was going to score. I didn't think for a minute he was going to miss. I was like, no, that's going in the back of the net again. And I think it was something like we had 6 big chances, 6 shots on target. And I think it was 6 shots and 6 on target. So I'm pretty sure every single time we came forward, we had a shot on target.
The first half ended with 4 shots and 4 on target. Yeah,
that's crazy. That is, if that's going to what's the Zerbismo is going to be, then that is very, very, very promising signs at Anfield as well, to be able to say that as well. It's not like we've just played, a lower team. We've actually played Liverpool at Anfield, and we've been able to say these stats.
I think over the last few years, that's definitely been our problem at times. Has been shots on target, clinical team, and you look at how well we sort of played with the way that in the first game where we're getting all the shots on target. It's been very. It's a style change. Not to say, because I think there was definitely a move in Potter's reign towards the end of last season where we went from very slow build-up play to trying to be very intricate to a lot more direct. And I think Zerbi sort of, not to steal a quote from somebody else, which I saw online somewhere, but, Zerbi's like Potterball with 4 espressos.
The BBC reporter, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was really good.
So that is sort of how we sort of press on, and we're sort of being so direct and making sure that if we get in there, we're getting balls into the box. Because even then, when there weren't shots on target, there were balls being buzzed across the front of goal. And that's the sort of thing I want to see: the direct sort of attacking down the line. And just having that sort of where you gamble on it, and if there's someone there, they tap it in. So
hopefully, usually Welbeck as well. He had 2 brilliant chances. We had his first the first one in the first half when it literally was just so close to going over the line. Alisson keeps it out, and then obviously before Trossard got his winner, so close to going in, and even getting himself out.
Just quickly, Jack, to your point of shots on target per match, I can give you a stat on that as well. Thanks to Football.
So if they don't sponsor us now, my God.
So we, on average, 5.4 shots on target per match, which leaves us 6th behind Newcastle, Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool, and City. But interestingly, shot conversion rate 11.9%. So which is actually better than Liverpool, better than Newcastle, better than Arsenal. So we're flying at the top of the league. So
Arsenal, wow, that's a claim actually.
Interesting facts there.
I was actually going to just touch on a point because it's easy to say, big up Trossard, big up Mitoma, big up your attacking players, but just to mention Alexis McAllister, he was fantastic again.
He's unreal.
He was so good. His dribbling as well seems to. He must have been taking some notes off Messi during his national break, because
he was
down. Just. He was just sort of dribbling in and around, and then he was fantastic again, and he's really, really paying dividends in that sort of deeper role. And that, to be fair, it is credit to Potter for taking the chance on him doing that. But he was fantastic again to do that at Anfield, and to take on players as well with so much confidence and almost take the game by the scruff of the neck and control it again. He's clever enough to read the game before anything happens and sort of create his own space and find the right pass every time. I thought he was brilliant, and a long way to continue with Alexis. It's one of the best sort of step-ups I've seen a Brighton player perform into a new role.
Am I right in thinking Naylor tweeted a couple of days ago about Trossard and Alexis potentially getting new contracts? Didn't he say they were underway, negotiations underway? That would be huge, because obviously Trossard's been linked with moves away. Even last year, he was linked with a move away due to his contract situation. And then obviously now Potter going to Chelsea. He's been linked with Chelsea, like every other Brighton player.
I think it's good to
find out. It'd be good to lock both of them down.
It's good to see that they both had contract extension options, though, which will both be used. Clever. So it means we can't lose them for nothing. But I think we need to get them battened down to new contracts. Especially
I was going to ask the group, do we think Trossard wants to sign a new contract? Because he's probably thinking, one corner of his eyes like Chelsea, bigger club, blah blah. But then also he probably thinks, well, because so in the lead up to the World Cup, he'd be, obviously we know it's a winter one now. Obviously he's going to play week in, week out. He's obviously putting great performances in. He's going to be like a shoo-in to go to the World Cup, obviously, and probably start for Belgium. Yeah. But then after that, he's probably thinking, well, what else have I got to, like after the World Cup, he comes back, he's like, well, okay, I've done what I need to do with Brighton. Do I just leave now? Do you know what I mean?
Isn't it similar to what Moyes has said as well? Moyes Caicedo mentioned about playing in the World Cup and stuff on that stage.
I think a lot of those interviews are being taken out of context. Like, I think they're just literally saying stuff like, if the opportunity comes up, I'd like to go to a big club. But I think they also, a lot of these players want to play every week, regardless of whether it's before or after the World Cup. If Trossard goes to Chelsea have like a plethora of options on the wing. They've got Stern, they've got some of the best wingers in the world there. Even Ziyech isn't a bad player when he wants to be. Maybe that was.
He's right.
But they've got options all over the place.
And he raised a regen right there.
Yeah. No, but it's a good point, Jack. Because look at Bissouma at Spurs. He's not getting a game.
No.
And arguably against Arsenal, he should have started. They were. I think they had a few injuries, and I think Skip's coming back from injury. Why is Bissouma not starting? He must be looking.
I can see him moving on in January. I don't know why.
Well, like a loan or something.
I
think the Conte criticism seems to be quite harsh. I don't know if that's out of context too, but obviously to come out and say, I know that Conte is very cutthroat and that's sort of the way he's always been. He's quite out there. But to come out and say that, Bissouma particularly hasn't stepped up so far in training and hasn't adapted, it's quite a big statement to make, about one of your new players. So I can see why he's not playing and, I don't really care, to be honest. He's fine, he's not our player anymore. But the grass isn't always greener, I suppose.
Just about to say that,
Chelsea didn't exactly perform well against Palace, I believe. I think they did win, but they weren't great.
Mate, Thiago should have been sent off. That was the most crazy thing. The fact that he wasn't sent off for literally deliberately handballing. He fell over, and he just scooped it.
Yes.
Like a basketball player does when he falls over.
That was a terrible decision because, I follow a few Crystal Palace accounts here and there. As much as I like, it's entertaining. Two of their fans were trying to batter each other last night. That was very entertaining. Just seeing that, and you look at that decision, you think, how the hell isn't given? That's a bizarre decision. Apparently, it's because he accidentally touched the first one, but the second one he deliberately touched it. So he deliberately touched it. I don't really understand.
A bit like Salah had 3 deliberate handballs and didn't get booked as well, Jack, remember?
Yeah. That was not to go on about refereeing again, but that was...
Just final one on the Palace game. It was poetic though, wasn't it? Graham Potter's Chelsea and Conor Gallagher, arguably one of their best ever players for Crystal Palace, on loan anyway, and he scores a worldie in the last minute.
It makes you think, and especially Thiago Silva getting an assist after handballing that should be sent off. It makes you think: is the Premier League rigged, or is it written by movie producers? Because some of the shit that happens, you're just
sometimes it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It makes you think that this game is incredible.
Well, I think to go back to our game, I don't know how Salah is able to deliberately handball the ball 3 times. That doesn't make any sense. And not get booked at all,
no, I do agree with you.
That was a strange one.
Have we got any more we want to talk about on the Liverpool game? Any more?
I was actually just about to say about, finally on sort of the Chelsea thing. It would be interesting to see, because obviously we play them not long. Because, Jack, I know you were there, so the chants about Potter before the game were quite strong. I'm not going to be singing them now.
No, what was it about?
I'm not saying the word on here because I'll probably get demonetised, but calling him the C word pretty much. But here we are. It was the same as the Mopé song. It was like, hey, Graham Potter,
okay. So what they sung about Boris Johnson that time ago? That's it's a cringy song. That
the Boris one. That was aimed at Graham Potter, I think. I don't know how many of the fans, because I was actually coming into Anfield at the time, so I was coming in through the turnstiles, just heard it and was wow. It'd be interesting to see how that all goes down. To be fair,
I think
it'll be like Luis Figo. When Figo went back to the Camp Nou when he signed Madrid, that pig's head on the pitch. We'll just throw fake Monopoly money on the pitch. I think we should.
For me, I think this is obviously it's come up a few times on Twitter as anybody who knows that the worst week in the history of the world, where we just won 5-2 against Leicester, then Potter leaves, then the football gets cancelled,
and the Queen passed away.
Yeah, Queen went, and new Prime Minister. So it was all
new King. Christ.
Yeah, it was all a bit strange in that week, but like, you know, I will fully admit I lost the plot over it half the time, but you know, I'm
Matt's was like, yes,
yeah. We can confirm on Twitter.
Yeah, I was a big fan of saying that. Oh, I've had enough. I've had enough of this. I'm going off for a few hours, and then only to say, "Oh yeah, I'm back 5 minutes later." Or
like girls, what they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Text me.
Genuinely on Graham Potter though, like, yeah, I'm not going to deny I'm pretty bitter about the way he left. Still, I think it's time to move on now. Finally, after we've seen a game, because I think it was allowed to stew because there was so long between games.
Yeah.
You know, I still don't think the way he left was great, and I still don't think it's the right job for him. But we move on. We go past it now.
Agreed.
When he comes,
Zobismo is here,
and I think when he comes back with Chelsea in a few weeks, you know, I won't be booing, for sure, but I won't be clapping either. You know, it won't be a case of where I think he, you know, you think some manager, if Gus Poyet came back and he would do a lap round the pitch, I'd probably clap him. Because he did a lot for the football club at the time, but I think and he left under pretty bad circumstances. So I think it needs a few years for us to get over it, almost.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how that happens when the reception that he gets. Obviously, like you said, Jack, he's done so much for the football club.
Yeah.
He's put us to an unbelievable place, and we can't deny it, where Zerbi can come in and pick up a brilliant squad with players that have come from nothing to something. He's done phenomenal stuff for our club. So like, it'll be sad to see him get booed or anything like that if he does get booed. But I would understand why the fans would do that. I haven't made my mind. I probably will be the same as you, Jack, and just not do anything.
Because,
I think like also
I'm in the middle.
I think some people need to accept this. Some people are just going to be bitter about this forever. You know, some people never liked Glenn Murray when he came back. Because he went to Palace.
You're right.
Some people don't like anyone. You know, people have their reasons to be bitter, and that's fair enough to a certain extent. I'm not that bitter, considering how much of a mentalist I was over that week. But you know, it's sort of like, you know, I was. You know, I'm still disappointed, but it's time to move on, and I think Saturday was perfect to move on because we were so bloody good. So,
and at least, hopefully, when we do play Chelsea, we'll still be above them in the table, because currently we're still 1 point above, sitting pretty in fourth place.
That's actually what I was gonna led me on nice. Actually, I was gonna say we've got a game in hand over our top 4 rivals, and we're actually flying. To be fair, I didn't realise how far up in the leagues we were until I looked yesterday, and even Manchester United could have overtaken us until they decided that Haaland and Foden were the second coming of Christ, and here we are. It's sat in 4th still, a game in hand. We've got Tottenham next, and I wanted to just ask, to be honest, because watching Spurs against Arsenal, I know it's North London derby, it's a bit of a cup final, to be honest with you, so it literally can go either way. But I mean, we've got to be a little bit confident, don't we?
100%.
What do you think?
De Zerbi's first game back at the Amex. Back at the Amex. That will be huge atmosphere. 5:30 kickoff. They'll be on the back of a horrendous result in the North London derby, albeit they obviously haven't beaten Arsenal for like 30 games in the Premier League playing away. Which is nuts status in itself. But they'll still be very, very hurt from that, and we will be coming on the back of a brilliant result. Albeit, I guess it was a draw, but should have been a win. Played unbelievably, whereas they played horribly. Defensive, so negative.
They were really poor. Yeah,
really poor.
That's the thing.
It's only going to be a positive when we play them on Saturday.
Yeah. Like for me, watching that game against Arsenal, like apart from, I'm trying to think who stood out that game. Apart from maybe like a Harry Kane or someone like that, I just thought they were just not at the races at all. And like Brian said, it could be because it was a North London derby, obviously at the Emirates. All those factors definitely come in. However, at the same time, it's like, they've not been. I'll be honest, I don't think they've been great throughout the whole season. Like consistently throughout the season, they've been getting results. They've been grinding results out, which is good. Like I'll take a 1-0 crappy scrappy win, but at the same time, they have not been playing well. So that's what fills me with confidence, is that we've actually been playing really well and getting results. So that's what puts me in good stead this season. They haven't gone into that
next gear, have they, yet? And
No.
obviously I really hope it doesn't happen against us, but I think it'll be unlikely that they do. I'm really gutted that Emerson Royale got sent off, because I was really hoping for us to have a field day against them.
Yeah, he's a bit of a joke player.
I really thought we were going to have a brilliant game against him.
Right back.
Matt Doherty, which is
Doherty.
I actually think Matt Doherty's really underrated.
Yeah, he is.
And Jed Spence. I don't know.
He doesn't get a look in though, does he, Spence?
Yeah, but Jed Spence, I don't know what's happened to him. He's moved to Tottenham and he seems to have just lost the plot. It was like after the game on Saturday, his sister put something on Instagram like, it could have been so different.
Oh really?
Yeah, but
he should have just stayed at Forest. I don't get why he didn't just stay at Forest.
Well,
it seemed like the obvious move for him.
Yeah,
I know that obviously Tottenham's an attraction, whatever, but sometimes you just have to, as a player, accept that a jump straight away isn't always a great idea.
I think
sometimes
he thought he was good enough
build
to
your
get
way
in
up
the
a
first team straight away, because obviously Emerson had a stinker that season. Doherty was looking like he was on the way out, but he kind of had a second coming, really, didn't he, in Spurs? So he probably thought that the sport was the starting sport. So
even to go to a team like, not like we would need him, but a team like us in and around that sort of mid-table, even if he didn't fancy Forest, but even still, I do find his move quite a strange one.
And there's rumours that he refused to go out on loan, which is a bit strange as well. Like, surely you want that for the development.
It's weird, really weird.
But, no, I like Matt Doherty, to be fair. Yeah. I really rate Matt Doherty. I think he's very underrated by a lot of people. So
but then again, I don't know. Mitoma on him.
Yeah,
we could have some fun there again, I think.
And big question is, does Basuma start?
Oh, I didn't even. That just reminded me. Jesus Christ, the Basuma derby.
What sort of reception will he get? Probably a good one, I suppose. Wouldn't he?
I think he's. I think
he's not like bad mouthed, does he? So
no, exactly. I feel like since he's left, like I know we usually just look at social media, but on social media he's been really nice. Like, done a really nice sort of like open letter on Instagram. It's been really. I think he's handled himself really well since he left. So. Yeah,
it's just a pity for him that he hasn't got in or done well. Like you said, Ryan, the grass isn't always greener, but maybe it will pick up for him.
Trossard, if you're watching, mate, grass isn't greener. Stay here.
Any Brighton player, if you're watching, it's not with
that Moises Caicedo.
It's strange with Basuma though, because like I think we were talking about this in the car on the way back. So the conversation might not have made sense to anybody outside that horrible drunken realm that we were in, but. We were saying like Basuma was probably one of the best players to ever play for us. When he was on form, he was fantastic. But of all the players who have left over the years, I think this is genuinely the player where we've missed him the least. Like, and that's not a slight on him, but the way we've played this season, at no point had I been like, we really missed Basuma here. We really miss what he did. I think there's almost like a perfect balance between like Caicedo, where Caicedo does a lot of the dirty work, winning the balls back. And then McAllister plays in the same position as Basuma, but is just so much better attacking and contributes so much more. Because I think if there was one bad thing about Basuma, was his goals and assists were low. And I don't think that wasn't a massive issue for the role he played, but he didn't always bring goals and assists to the game. And I think that's maybe why I always thought if he took that step up to the top six clubs, he would struggle at a top six club, because they want all their midfielders to be contributing assists and goals all over the place. You look at it, I'm trying to think of an example in the top sides, like Liverpool. Fabinho pops up with a few goals.
Even Rodri comes up with a good amount of goals as well.
Gundogan.
And then you look at Arsenal. Partey and Xhaka were the goal scorers this weekend. So point. I think that's why he struggled a bit.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
It'll be interesting. But obviously, then they got Harry Kane, who loves scoring against us.
Oh mate, Harry Kane! I forgot I've got to watch that guy play football. I hate I think he is the most infuriating player. Yeah. I don't normally hate players, but I can't stand watching Harry Kane play. I'm sure he's a nice bloke, but I can't stand watching him play football. He drives me absolutely crazy. All he does is dive and moan and whinge.
And on top of that, Ryan, Richarlison and Son, who both love diving about as well.
Just makes me.
It's gonna if it doesn't go away, it's going to be a very, very frustrating evening.
I'll tell you what though, Harry Kane is very good though.
Oh yeah, he is. I'll buy every time to Harry Kane stuff because he just winds me up every time. Winds me up.
One thing I will say actually, and I think he's really key to their. I think he was really key to the reason why they didn't do well on Saturday or whenever they played. Kulusevski, he was injured, wasn't he? So I feel like if he's back against us, I'm actually much less confident, because I feel like he actually does add a lot. I think he's like the mold. He's the gel between the
midfield and the attack.
Yeah, and like,
I worry about Richarlison, Maz, as well. To be honest,
yeah, Richarlison.
He's quite dangerous against us. Seems to have a good record against us for Everton as well.
He's also he seems quite confident ever since he did that ball juggle. I don't know what it is, but Richarlison seems to thrive off hatred.
Oh,
like
100%.
If you hate him, he gets 100 times better, and I like that.
It's like Thanos. He's like,
he's it's like what's it in bloody Star Wars?
He's like Ryan Adsett on Twitter or something.
When it's like Star Wars when I can't remember. Somebody said, "If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can ever imagine," and that is what he is. And Richarlison just becomes more and more powerful and angry and good. The more you boo him, the more you hate on him.
So don't boo him.
Yeah, so don't boo him.
If anything, applaud him.
Applaud him. Yeah,
be nice to him. So just shout out, "Go Richarlison, come on, mate!"
Yeah, you're a legend, best player in the world.
Legend, yeah.
Better than
But
Neymar.
just final thing from me on the Spurs game is I think defensively they are not great. Like in their defence they've got Lenglet, Sanchez, Dyer. And Romero. Now, Romero, I like him. I think he's good.
Romero's alright, yeah.
Dyer's not awful. He's not.
Dyer's been very
great.
good this year.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
And when I watched him,
He actually has, annoyingly, because I've always slated him in the past because I've always said he's overrated. Then he went through a patch of being so underrated. So overrated that became underrated.
Yeah,
and now he's just all right. Like he's decent.
I think he's one of
decent so far.
The only people that came out of the England games over the international break with actually some credit. I think he did quite well in those two games.
And then quickly, Hugo Lloris as well made a horrendous mistake.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and he made a mistake against us.
I'm loving it, mate. He's so bad, mate. I've said this to
incoming Lloris Golden Glove and absolute world class performance.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna tone it down. I don't rate him. I personally think
I agree.
I genuinely don't. I don't think he's good. I actually don't think he's good. But like Ryan said, he's now going to go and put a 10 out of 10 performance against us.
I'm with I'm with Maz though on this. Like, I do not get at any point where he was like the world-class goalkeeper. He's always had a mistake in him. I don't even think he's that good on the distribution level. He's a great shot stopper.
I'm scared now.
But yeah, I know, great. I've done this. But but even though you think to the World Cup final, which was probably his greatest hour, he was the one who passed the ball directly to Mandzukic to get them Croatia back in the game.
Yeah.
Let me while we're on goalkeepers.
Yeah.
And before we end the pod, I want to just say actually, Bobby Sanchez. I know he was he made that mistake for that third goal, but he was that save.
Oh, the last
that Trent save, which we didn't mention. Oh my God, what a save that was! Right behind the goal as well. Seeing that as he tipped it round, it was literally going straight in that bottom corner. Great free kick.
Fantastic save.
But that was one of the best saves I've seen.
Well remembered, Ryan.
I feel like he redeemed himself for the mistake because that was
absolutely mate. Redeemed himself for more.
It was shaky. The little punch.
Quickly before we go and before we end the Spurs preview, I'm going to get a Brighton player that's going to do well and thrive against Tottenham, and also your score predictions.
Okay.
Ryan, I reckon I'm going to go with you first. So a player that will thrive for Brighton and their score.
Okay, a player that will thrive. Depends who we start. I think obviously I don't imagine that would change that much. To be honest, I think Alexis McAllister's your safe bet. Be nice if we did bring in Mitoma. He could potentially be one. If we, Matt Doherty or whatever, if he does have a bit of a poor showing coming straight back into that team, I think Mitoma could have some fun. I think my easy bet's just to say Alexis, just because it's hard to look past him. Trossard could have a good game because he always seems to have a goal in him these days. But I'm probably going to give it Alexis just because I've got to stick by him at the minute. He's just been absolutely fantastic. I can't big him up enough. He's just been so good. So I'll stick with him because I hope and I anticipate another good game for him, to be honest.
And your score prediction, sir?
Score predictions. See, Tottenham always have a goal in them because they do have a good attack. So I'm going to say 2-1 because I think we're going to win. I do have confidence. I like Deserbismo, and I like the way we've been, and I feel like there's a good energy around at the moment. The Anfield game, I was absolutely buzzing. The atmosphere was great. We're all loving our lives. So I'm going to go 2-1 win.
Cool. Jack? That will do well for Brighton, and score prediction. Quick.
I'm going to make a rogue shout, as I usually like to do. I think Dunk's going to really thrive in this game. I think he's going to
Pocket Kane.
He's actually probably been the one that's off form at the moment, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think he's going to do really well at sort of handling Kane. And I do think Trossard looks so in form at the moment. So
yeah, he does.
But another shout, I've basically listed the whole team now. But I think Welbeck might finally get his goal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, I was also thinking to myself, have I ever predicted Brighton to win on this podcast? Because I don't think I've ever predicted us to win.
I don't think we have either. Jack.
Yeah, so I'm going to predictably. I think Zerbi, when he came in, actually had like a run from hell. If you look at it, Liverpool, Tottenham, Brentford away, City, and Chelsea. His first 5 games is tough. So I'm not going to go for a win. I think there'll be goals in the game. I think we might see some of Tottenham's quality come through. I still think there's more to come.
A prediction, Jack.
Yeah, I'm going to push you for an answer, mate.
Yeah, sorry.
I need to wrap up, mate.
Yeah, sorry. I think there will be.
I've got a call in 8 minutes.
Yeah. I think there will be some good form. So I think Son will score, and it will be 2-2.
2-2. Okay.
Nice. 2-2.
I'm going to go 2-1 win, and I think I'm going to go for March. March is my player to drive, just for his industrious non-running. He doesn't stop running, and I think he'll put a shift in.
Right, that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then for me, 2-1 win, and I think I'm going to go Welbeck. I reckon he'll get his goal finally.
Look at that.
Come on, the Albion. Thank you for all coming. It's been a pleasure.
Welbeck segment next
Been a
week,
pleasure
by the way.
talking about this
I just
beautiful club
decided.
that we have. Thank you, Roberto Zerbi, for picking our club and giving us that unbelievable result.
and
A
then-
great away day.
Comments down below. Just put stop waffling, Jack Albion.
Yeah, because I didn't realise the time. Sorry.
Oh, that's going to be good. Nice. All right. If you have enjoyed it, of course, give this video a like and also subscribe if you aren't subscribed already to the Seagulls Social.
Follow me
Vote
on
for us on the
Twitter.
FCAs.
Follow us all on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes,
Everything's going to be down below.
FCAs.
FCAs.
Hopefully I'll remember
After
to
3
put a link.
attempts, even my mum managed to do it, so anybody can do it. You know,
She even tagged herself, didn't she?
she
That's
even
hilarious.
nominated herself twice. So
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, final one. We are going to have a very special guest coming soon. So
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Very special guest.
Very special.
very
guest,
special
yeah.
guest.
Yeah.
So,
And
it's
then,
my
if,
mate
of course,
Corey.
yeah, not your Corey, Jack. That's a bit graphic, mate.
right.
Anyway, before I
Please.
say anything wrong, so also give us a
I've got to click.
like and all that nonsense. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, you know where to find us if you're listening already, and we will see you next week with a very special guest. So, peace.
Peace.